As you finish your deliveries, might I talk to you for a moment? I was curious to know what has become of Maven's and Kurasev's remains. Oh, thank you, friend. Surely they will be able to find rest peacefully by each other's side. I and the people of Palakistan will form the rights as soon as we are able. As for the child, it will not be easy for her growing up without her parents, but I promise to do what I can. Once she is able to eat solid food, the fish I catch will help nourish her. Well, we finished delivering the chai. I do hope everyone has a piping hot cup. I can almost believe there's magic at work, how their tension fades with every sip. Let us pray Palakistan has seen the last of those transformations, at least for now. They are still at risk, as every village in Thavnir, like as not. Still, I trust we can leave this place in the care of our friends from the Radiant and the High Crucible. Shall we return to Radzatan? By all means, do not let us keep you further. There are still many who have need of your wisdom and strength to deliver them from this terrible calamity. And I will do what I can as well. I will bring rations and supplies from Akiali. We have plenty to spare. Then let's find Estinian and be on our way. Where did he wander off to again? The Wakeful Torona. Near the bridge to Radzatan, as I recall. Very well then. Oh, I just need to open this. And go to here. Where do we go? Speak with Estinian. Oh, there's another blue quest, so I might as well just pick this up and do it. Oh, excuse me. Do you need something? Wait, you're her. The very woman who saved Maven's child. Chaka, was it? I knew it. I'm Yazan, an alchemist of the Great Work. I am but one of the few who are looking after the child as she makes her recovery. Mevan and Kurasef were dear friends of mine. Thank you for everything you've done for their daughter. Her condition is on the mend. I'm sure you'll be glad to hear. We've been taking turns checking in on her. The last thing she needs is a gaggle of adults fussing over her day and night. That being said, when she is fully healed, there is a question of who will be in charge of her care. For the love I bore her parents, I would gladly take her in as my own. But that would mean raising her far away from her home. Moreover, I am yet to be wed, and my duties consume so much of my time, I can scarce focus on my own care, let alone that of a growing child. I doubt my ability to give her the love she deserves, love equal to that her parents gave her. She deserves better than that, so I've considered finding someone more suitable. It's the least I can do, truth be told, perhaps the best option. Even so, although I was born here, much of my life was spent at the Great Work. I'm afraid I haven't the foggiest who to ask, even if I had the time to do so. You, however, seem to be well loved among the people here. Could you ask around in my stead? It would be much more effective use of my time to prepare medicine for the sick and wounded. I apologize for imposing such an enormous task upon you, but I would trust no one else with it. When you're finished, come to my hut to the south of this settlement and we can discuss any potential parental candidates. Right, so I've got to talk to all of the residents, right? No one in here. Oh, there's one over there. The child. None dote over her quite like Yazan. None dote over her quite like Yazan. But I understand alchemy isn't a merciful trade for a parent. Still, there's no one else who comes to mind when I consider the option. I'd volunteer to take her in myself, but with the chaos of the recent events, it's difficult enough to see that me and mine are fed and clothed. I know I'm not the only one facing such hardships either. Who do I think is most suited to care for the child? Yazan is an obvious choice. Dependable, loyal, and dutiful. Every quality you would desire in a parent. I know he does become so absorbed in his research, but that devotion has made him a peerless alchemist. Who better is there to look after someone so sickly as her? Right. Oh, there's a guy over there. If you ask me, Passerine is the most motherly among us. She has had a child of her own not too long ago, so I reckon there's no one better to be a wet nurse. That being said, times have been troubled for us all. It might be unseemly to ask her to take on such a burden unless she was willing. Is that her in there? Yeah. Welcome to my humble workshop, Chaka. I'm almost too nervous to ask, but what did the others say? Huh? Someone nominated me? Well, that's neither here nor there. You said Passerine's name was mentioned. She was a good friend to Mevan. It's true, but there are other factors at play that make me reticent to ask her. Simply put, I'd rather not burden her further than if it could be avoided. That being said, we don't exactly have the luxury of choice, all things considered. I suppose I would be remiss if I didn't at least speak with her. I owe the child that much. Will you accompany me, Pachaka? A supportive presence by my side would help me find the right words. Passerine should be nearby, doubtlessly watching over her own child. I must deliver this medicine before speaking with her, so please go on ahead. Oh, there's barrels in my way. Oh, they're already getting the most out of that baby model. Yezan, so good to see you. And who is this with you? Passerine, meet Pachaka. She's the hero who saved Mervan and Karisev's daughter. Ah, what a pleasant surprise. Thank you for your bravery. I've heard tell of the troubles she's been through since. I hope you're able to see her return to health soon. It has been trying, to be sure, but we must look forward to the day she is hale. Everyone is doing their utmost to make it so. The question remains as to where she will go from there. However, I've considered taking her into my home. I've considered taking her into my own home, but I fear my qualifications as a parent are somewhat lacking. I know you have been a dear friend to Mervan, and as such, only thought it meet to ask you if you're willing to care for her daughter. If you are, I would do everything in my power to see that she's given into your care. I'm flattered. Mervan was as family to me, and I view her child as my own. I would do anything to see her raised into as brave a woman as her mother. However, I cannot care for her. I'm not worthy to care for her. Worthy? What is that? Ah, my apologies. I understand it was a sudden request, and no small one besides. Please forgive the imposition. I'll be in the village for some time yet. Should you require treatment for you and yours, please seek me out. I will. Thank you, Yezan. I would speak with you further, Pachaka. Let us return to my dwelling. I wasn't too forceful, was I? I simply asked if she was willing. I didn't mean to make her feel obligated to agree. I found her words somewhat mystifying, not worthy. What could that mean? I'm usually not one to pry, but this worries me. I consider Passerine a friend, and I am loath to leave her to her troubles. And there still is the matter of the child. I shall have to think on what to do from here. I may need your help again, Chaka. I hope you are willing. Well then, if you're willing, I have a task that requires immediate attention. It's simple but essential, namely the gathering of herbs. The child is in a vulnerable state, and I would fortify her against further sickness. There are also more wounded in the village than I had anticipated, and my stores have become running low. It would be best to replenish them while time affords us an opportunity. Can I count on you to help me? I'm somewhat of a botanist myself. Splendid. I require several of the reddish soma herbs, which grow among the shrubbery to the northeast. With both of us working in tandem, I wager we should have enough gathered before the next bell. Oh, that's good because it will get me to... I get to... I have to go and get that at some point. Oh, there's some. Shrub. We want a shrubbery. Oh, these level 90 mobs are really doing a number on me. These appear to be the herbs you seek, but only their stems remain. Another enterprising alchemist must already have been here. Over there. Oh, God. I already missed the days where I was too over-leveled to draw aggro. A pale red herb which is said to have powerful medicinal qualities. I saw the creature emerge from the brush, but you felled them before. I had a chance to be frightened. I'm glad you survived unscathed. If that had been me, ugh. Any road, did you manage to find some soma? Excellent work, excellent work. My search came up fruitless. It appears we're not the only ones seeking this particular herb. It shouldn't come as a surprise, I suppose. This area is well known for the medicinal plants which grow here. If my supplies run low once more, perhaps I should ask the villagers if they have any to spare. For now, I believe we found all we can. Let's return to Palaka's stand. Oh. I just want the aether current. As I suspected, we weren't the only ones searching in the jungle. I returned to my quarters to find a bag positively stuffed to the brim with herbs, including soma, in fact. I asked a nearby colleague who delivered this bounty, and they told me it was one of the Arcasadora stewards. I believe I know who it is. Her name is Sula, a shy one but obviously kind of heart. I spied her eavesdropping during our conversation with Passerine, poorly I might add. I apologize for asking you at the end of a trying day, but would you speak with her for me? Offer our thanks for the herbs, and perhaps find if she knows anything of Passerine's troubles. For my part, I'll begin synthesizing the medicines at once. Sula should be somewhat where nearby. I pray you have a productive conversation. God, this is such a long question. Oh, you are... I mean, who are you? Do you require something from me? The herbs. I came upon them while hunting, nothing more. I've heard that the medicine made from them is effective in treating the ailments of young children. It seemed only meet that I should do my part, as it were. Why were you eavesdropping on the conversation? That. Well, very well. I believe I can shed some light on the root of Passerine's trouble. That is what you wish to hear, yes? Yazan asked you to speak with me, just as he asked you to gather his herbs. Well. Then perhaps it's best for us to all speak together. Go to him and allow me some time to gather my thoughts. I shall approach you when I'm ready. You're just in time. I've only just finished synthesizing the medicine. So did Sula tell you anything of interest? Well, I suppose I can hear it straight from her. I appreciate that you felt it fit to include me. Firstly, I owe you an apology. I was sneaking about out of concern for Passerine. I know what it is that weighs on her mind, you see. That is what you want to know, yes? The story is troubling to hear, and even more troubling to relate. Before I tell it, you must promise me that you will be her strength in the days to come. Yes, of course. Anything to help a friend. Dazal, her beloved husband, was killed. When the veil of chaos descended upon the world, he fled into the jungle and transformed into one of those terrible beasts. He returned here a monster, where my sister Chapa met his wrath. Neither of them survived the ensuing struggle. I was there as well. Despite his monstrous form, I knew it was Dazal. I froze in terror whilst Chapa stood undaunted. She fought alone for my cowardice. It was my fault she died. I knew this, and yet... I laid the blame on Passerine's shoulders. I lashed out at her, cursing her for her husband's cowardice. When we both should have comforted the other in mourning, I turned my back on her. I left her to bear the burdens of not one, but 2 deaths. It is only natural that she would be hesitant to look after another, given that. I was a fool to condemn Passerine, when it was my duty to protect the people here. I have wanted nothing more than to apologize since that day, but I fear my words were too cruel to forgive. I cannot stand to meet her gaze. It was a difficult time for everyone. We often lose ourselves in moments of crisis. But so long as we find our way back, we are worthy of forgiveness. Chapa would agree, I'm sure. She wouldn't blame you for what happened. Nor would she want you to blame yourself. Passerine doubtless feels the same. You are right. I must apologize to her. That is the only course. Chaka was it. I will speak with Passerine, but I require some time to muster my courage. Soon, I promise. Oh, come on, give me it. Thank you for lending an ear to my troubles, Pachaka. If you are willing, there is a place I would travel to. I wish for you to accompany me. Administering to my duties may help calm my nerves. To that end, I mean to inspect the temple for signs of disrepair. After we have finished, I hope to find the courage to once again look Passerine in the eyes. With all the monsters about, most of my attention of late has been focused on finding and protecting those who have fled. With the arrival of the regular host, however, there is time to attend to this long neglected duty. I too must ask that you go with Sula, knowing that their holy places are being cared for may set these people's hearts at ease. Every ounce of comfort is precious in these trying times. Much appreciated. Would that I could join you, but I'm afraid an alchemist's tools are of little use against fangs and claws. That doesn't mean I'll stand idly by, however. I'll remain here and continue making medicine for the children. My hands may be clumsy with sword and shield, but they are more than adroit with mortar and pestle. We are blessed indeed to have a pair such as you looking after us. Well then, let's begin the patrol. Our first destination shall be Perusa, to the southeast. It is a bit of a trek, so I'll make the arrangements before departing. Oh god, it is a bit of a trek. I really hope this is a quest chain for an 8th current, because otherwise I'm going to be very upset. It has been some time since I have set foot in these hallowed grounds. In times bygone, there were much more such places in this region, but many were moved to Vanispati. From one of the divinities worshipped here were these words passed down, that we might send off our departed with its wisdom. Just as life leads to death, so does death lead to life. Do not shed tears for the departed, for they have but set foot upon a new journey. Be not forlorn that your paths have diverged, but look forward with joy to the day that they might cross again. For as long as I can remember, I followed in my sister's footsteps. In her absence, I have felt lost. Whenever I think to forge a path of my own making, my legs become heavy and my heart becomes anxious. Your sister would want you to move forward with courage. Sometimes standing still offers a new perspective. Thank you, Checker. Yazam has a generous soul, and to have your wisdom to buoy me is more than I deserve. Would that I could open my heart to Passerine in such a way. This temple seems to be appears to be well kept. Let's check the other side, shall we? Oh, got the same one again. This area is in ghastly shape, scratches here and cracks there. Will you help me investigate further? We'll cover more ground by searching separately. I shall search around this area. I trust you to do your due diligence. There we go. Damaged stone. The stones here are cracked and require repair. Probably the same thing. The zones of the foundation appear to be unstable. However, filling in the areas where the grout has fallen away should remedy that. What the fuck is the other one? Oh, there. I see it. We have to just get rid of this guy. Sorry, Hanuman Langur. You got to go. The stones here are crumbling and fragments of them litter the ground. It would be best to replace them. Alright. Have you finished? Was it as bad as it looks? I see. This must have been the site of a battle or some other horrible conflict. I must do what I can to see it repaired. Though this temple may be remote, the devout do come here on occasion to offer prayers. Thank you for helping me today. This has helped me forget the crisis that plagued us. The crises that plague us and reminded me of simpler times, when we would look after the roads and protect the pilgrims on their journeys. I ever looked forward to setting out on patrol with my sister by my side. But I must find a way to manage without her, to set foot on my own path. My first step must be to apologise to Passerine, even if she may refuse it. No more distractions. That being said, if you were by my side, it may be all the easier for me to find the right words. Should I just teleport back? 70 gil. I think we can stretch to that. Oh, hello, Chaka and Sula. I take it your patrol was fruitful. I just administered a soothing salve to Passerine's child. She's sleeping soundly now, so us speaking should not wake her. Passerine, I'm sorry. I should not have said all those terrible things to you. I was not in my right mind. It was my fault my sister was killed. I stood frozen in fear when Dazal attacked, and yet when it was all over, I placed the blame on you. I was a fool. No, Sula, you were right. It was I who could not ease his troubles. It was my fault he succumbed to the despair that gnawed at his heart. We've all lost something during this tragedy, through no one's fault but fate. These are difficult days and we shouldn't blame ourselves for their cruelty. There is a reason in your answer, of course, but forgiveness of the self is no simple matter. I am overjoyed to speak with you again, Sula. However, I'm afraid I need more time to come to terms with everything that has occurred. Well, that I knew how much Passerine was suffering, I could have been there to comfort her. Perhaps there is something I can do now, something to set her upon the right path. Is this all I'm going to get? It is plain that Passerine is not yet ready to forgive herself, but I am at loss for what I could do to help. Do we leave her be, or is there some way we can help? I, for one, will not stand idly by while she suffers alone. Perhaps if she had something to remind her of her beloved, she would more easily accept his loss. Passerine did not have the chance to say her farewells. Chaka, I must ask for your aid once more. Will I have it? Of course. It appears that I shall be in your debt again, but it is well worth it. During the chaos, most of us fled northwest to the bridge. Let's retrace those steps, and we might find something that belonged to Dazal. Pick up anything that catches your eye, and we can share what we've found once we reach the bridge. Oh, shit. Thank you for all you've done for Sula thus far, Chaka. Her spirits have already much improved for your efforts. Let's see that we can effect the same change in Passerine. Dazal did enjoy jewellery and baubles, so it's not inconceivable that he may have dropped something as he fled. If you should spy something glimmering in the brush, it couldn't hurt to pick it up. Everything's so far away. do not want to fight that Morble. Though the glimmer of the object caught your eye at a distance, on closer inspection it is just a rock. Oh, well that was easy. Oh. I wonder if I can unlock this bit. Yeah, I should be able to. There we go. How goes the search? I found this necklace among the underbrush, one of Dazal's favourites, but it seems to be missing the jewel that made it shine so brilliantly. Ah, what's that in your hand? Why, this is it, the very jewel I spoke of. You make an excellent team, eh? However, we cannot give this to Passerine as it is. We must repair it first. Doubtless, Yazan will be able to lend his expertise in that respect. Let's return to the village and speak with him. Where is he? Oh, he's over by his house again. Sulu has told me all of about your findings. Quite excitably, in fact. She's gone to find materials so she can polish the necklace to a mirror sheen. As for the jewel, I believe I can take it off your hands for the time being. A jewel with a subtle gold decoration. It appears it was once set in something. This repair should prove simple enough. Adhesive is one of the most elementary recipes. Once the necklace is in presentable shape, I'll bring Sula to visit Passerine. Could you go ahead and tell her to wait for us? If we take longer than expected, I trust you can keep her enraptured with one of your grand tales. You have something for me. I don't recall asking anything of you. Passerine, I would like you to have this, please. This is Dazal's necklace. Oh, he was so proud the day he bought this. How in the world did you find it? I had naught but memories to remind me of him, but the sight of this makes me feel that he isn't so far away after all. There's nothing I can do to change the past, but I can work to help give us both a brighter future. This was the least I could do, and I could not have done it without the help of these two. Thank you for the gift, truly, and for your wise words. I see now that you're right. We mustn't let the tragedies of yesterday keep us rooted in place. All it takes is a single step forward, but you must want to take it. Sometimes we must stop to consider the best way forward. All it takes is a single step. Well said. Well said. Might add that the wounds heal more quickly when a salve is applied to them. When we ignore the pain they cause, they rot. We must take action to see them healed, and rest when we are tired. Only when our energy returns can we move forward, carefully, one step at a time. Yes, one step at a time. If it isn't too much trouble, could I help care for the child? The scars of recent tragedy are yet too fresh for me to take care of her entirely by myself, but even so, that doesn't mean I cannot assist in some small way. I have my own child to look over, of course, but still, if you were to take the child under your wing, I would be happy to assist you whenever you needed me. For the time being, I could be her wet nurse. Any medicines she requires would be your responsibility, I suppose. Together we can see that she emerges from her affliction as hale as any newborn babe. That's a splendid idea, I must admit. I could hardly think of a better arrangement myself. I shall hunt and bring food for the child, that she might grow to be strong like her father and mother. That is what Chapel would do, and one step at a time I shall make her proud. The emptiness I feel at Dazal's loss will take some time to fill, but I believe in time I will heal. He would want me to heal. Allow me to thank you again for all you've done. We owe you more than we can repay. Now, I would like to see the child for myself. I'm not one for the subtleties of conversation, but I'd say that went as well as could be expected, wouldn't you? Now, come back to my workshop. There's something I'd like to give you. Truth be told, I had already resolved to raise the child myself, but the prospect of having a helping hand is comforting indeed. I suppose the true work starts from here, eh? I'm glad to finally have good news to share with Karisef and Maven. I've been so preoccupied with treating the sick and injured that I've had little time to think of the departed. My friends really are gone, but I can still honour their memory. If anything has become clear in recent events, it is that the people of this settlement must speak with one another about their troubles. Solitary thoughts so quickly turn dark. I'm more than capable of treating wounds we can see, but it takes a community to heal those that are hidden. I admit the latter prospect may take some time for me to become accustomed to. You'll find a way as an alchemist, a friend, and a father. Would that there were more than one of me, eh? Luckily, I know more than a few concoctions that will give me the vigour of several men. I only need have the energy to brew them. Regardless, I apologise for dragging you along all this time, even though I doubt we would have arrived at such an amicable sort of conclusion without you, so I retract my apology. Well then, it'll soon be my turn to care for the child. Although her parents are no longer with us, I must do my utmost to raise their daughter in a way that would meet with their approval. I owe my friends that much. I have the money, please. Oh, I didn't get a fucking aetheryte shard from that like I thought I would. Let's go to a studio. Let's try and avoid these morbals. He says, aggroing one instantly. Let's see what Alpha and Else have to say. I've apprised Estinian of the situation at Palika's stand, so we needn't have that conversation. How do you suppose the others fared in the capital? I hope things have not been too eventful in our absence. Alphino told me everything. Full glad am I to hear the people are safe. Likewise, you will be pleased to know I found no evidence of lingering beasts in the jungle and ruins. 'Twould seem you finished off the last of them. Trying times yet lie ahead for the people of Thavnir. Fortunately, they have a wise and benevolent satrap to shepherd them through. Speaking of which, I received word from Thancred not a short while ago. He awaits our return in the city on Alzadan's path. Come. Oh, they must have instanced this place. There's a lingering sense of desolation here, but it is much preferable to the chaos and panic we saw before. It will be a struggle for the people to come to terms with these tragedies, but they are far stronger than you may think. The poor old woman who became a beast said her grandson had gone to Palika's stand. I hope he survived. It's good to see you safe. Given the skies, it is all too easy to fear the worst. I am pleased to report that we've succeeded in quelling the threat here in the city. The beasts have been felled and the citizens are safer now. I've also heard from the Radiant that an important proclamation will be made in the city square, though they said no more than that. Might you have any idea what this is about? So Vitra is finally coming out from behind the curtain. I suppose we too should hear what he has to say. To Megaduta then. But before that, it would appear word of the assembly has not yet reached the citizens. If anyone along the way seems unaware, we'd best enlighten them. Oh, the beast's gone. I've been hiding and I'm too scared to go out and look. Oh, that's a relief. I thought one of those beasts was going to eat me. I wonder where Vishan is. He's the slowest runner. I hope he got away. He could be with the other people from the palace. Maybe I'll see him in the square. Spooked youth. Leave me be, please. I swear to you, my flesh tastes absolutely terrible. Oh, gods, what are you doing scaring me like that? If we're not quiet, those beasts will find us. The square, you say? But that's where the satrap was killed. With my very eyes, I saw him crushed in that creature's maw. So many lives lost, such terrible carnage. And you say there is someone else who would lead Radzathan in his stead? Whoever they are, if they say anything to sully the memory of our beloved satrap, I'll make them regret it. Finish rounding up the stragglers. The proclamation may begin shortly. Let's wait here, lest we miss something important. Welcome back, Chaka. Alphino told me everything. I was pleased to hear that Vitra has chosen to reveal himself at last. The people of Radzathan need a strong and wise satrap more than ever. People are slowly making their way here, but many are still gripped with fear and doubt. Hopefully Vitra's message of hope will resonate strongly enough with the ones willing to listen, to spread to every corner of Thavnir. I hear you are able to bring the situation at Palikistan under control. Every life lost is a tragedy, but you should take pride in what you could do, in doing what you could. When I assumed command during the earlier panic, I did so instinctively and out of necessity. It was not my place to give orders, but I'm glad the people heeded them. But now they have need of a true leader, a magnanimous and just satrap who can guide the souls them every step of the way. Fortunately, they are blessed with one such soul. If anyone can protect them and guide them through this calamity, it is he. Worm and man, working together towards a common goal. But the people still have lingering doubts, and I cannot blame them. Yet we know what strength is afforded us with one of the first brood on our side. I have faith in the citizenry will come to understand and accept him in time. Look, someone's coming. People of Radzathan, it warms my heart to see so many brave, resilient souls before me. Today I would share with you a great revelation, but before I do so, I must make a humble request. Do not be alarmed, nor avert your eyes. See the one I unveil for who he is, and know that he means you no harm. Very well. I dare say it can't be worse than the horrors we've already seen. Many thanks. People of Radzathan, I am Vitra, and for years uncounted hath this isle served as mine abode. Tis as the satrap's ally I am known. Today I would reveal the truth unto you. Let us hope they accept him. If I'm hearing this right, you were the satrap all along. Vashan, Master Vitra. Does your divine eye really see all? Nay, child. While mine eye hath borne witness to the whole of our nation's history, to its future I am as blind as thee. Countrymen, calamity the likes of which we have never known is come to Thevnir, our home. Friends and loved ones have been taken from us. I too have lost my closest confidant. Ahuan loved this land and served it with dignity till his dying breath, a nobler satrap there will never be. For so long, I lacked the courage to face you. I will not easily earn your trust, this I know. And yet, I cannot sit idly by and abandon Radzathan to her fate. A font of boundless vibrancy, this jewel of the ocean, since time immemorial hath she glistened with every colour imaginable. To this dragon slumbering in his dark lair, 'twas a mesmerizing sight, and one that brought no end of joy to my heart. This calamity hath stolen much from you already. Yet so long as you live, the light of Radz-at-Ham will never be extinguished. I pray you let me watch over you, and lend me your strength, that we might face this trial and those to come as one. I do not know you, dragon, but I thank you for speaking the truth to us. As divinities both Manusya and Mirga once joined together, so too do I believe that, hand in hand, we can overcome this ordeal and welcome an era of peace. A sight that would have surely brought a smile to Yasal's face. Indeed. Excuse me, but I must speak with the satrap at once. Father. You have suffered dearly of late, yet you must endeavour to look beyond these losses to the future you yet have. On behalf of the Forum of Sharlium, I have come with a proposal by which you, the people of Radz-at-Han, might be saved. I say again, I must speak with your satrap. I beseech you, take me to him with all possible haste. I am satrap here. Speak thy proposal, all present shall hear and judge. If I have given offence, then I apologise. First, allow me to share with you what knowledge we have of the phenomenon responsible for your woes, the final days. It is an affliction of stagnancy and rot sown into the currents of the star. Though the first prominent manifestation was here in Favnir, it will invariably spread to every corner of the world. The Forum was forewarned of this apocalypse several centuries ago. Therefore, my predecessors sought to prepare for the end times in the only conceivable fashion, by securing a means of escape. Escape the star? What madness is this? It is by no means madness. With the coming of the seventh umbrella calamity, the true nature of the Red Moon Dalamud was revealed. That it was an artificial construct of ancient Allag. But what of the Silver Moon? This celestial satellite is yet another technological marvel fashioned and maintained by ancient allies, a ship that will sail the heavens and deliver our people from destruction. And by our people, I speak not only of Sharlian. We mean to save every man, woman and child it is within our power to save. Including you, our dear friends at Radz-at-Han. Recent events necessitate adjustments to be made, and quickly, but we can and will escort you safely to the moon. Long has thy forum been allies to Thavnir. I trust thou dost not extend this offer lightly. Yet I wonder, is this truly the way? Is there a future to be built for us beyond this star our father deemed the last bastion of hope? It is for that very reason I come before you and your people, to answer any and all of your questions. I offer my assurances and allay your fears. Though if you wish the best for your people, I advise you render your decision swiftly. Show our friends to Megaduta. They are to be received as honoured guests. Worry not. Whatever decision is reached, your path shall be yours to decide. Until then, heed the warning of these brave heroes. Guard your hearts against fear and despair, for it is within such fertile soil that the seeds of blasphemy find purchase. Remain calm and attend to your daily tasks. I shall return anon. We'll do as you say, Master Vitra. We believe in you. Oh no. Oh, you're still here. What relief. Nidana, what's the matter? Has something happened at Palaka's stand? Oh no, not that I know of. I just hope to hear your thoughts on a theory of mine. All who undergo transformation are drained of their aether, yes? What is it then that gives these beasts the strength to carry on as they do? Logically, they must be drawing from an alternate form of vital energy. That put me in mind of our earlier conversation when I tried to explain the essence which make many confused with aether. Oh yeah, the feelings. Axa. Yes, I remember. The unseen gift bestowed from on high. An energy influenced solely by emotion. Yes, yes. In this instant, negative ones set Akasa into motion, thereby infusing the beasts with vitality. I posit this is the mechanism by which the beasts are born and sustained. Ah, do you still have that flower? Not anymore. If we accept that it once shone bright by drawing upon Akasa influenced by the thoughts of those nearby, then fear, terror and despair, negative emotions so powerful as to suffocate it, permeated the air in this place. You must be very careful. The force which drives the final days may be beyond our ability to perceive. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you like that. At any rate, I will continue my research into Akasa. Do temper your expectations, however. So there are sadly few detailed studies upon which I may draw. Formulating a new theory as you have is itself no small feat. I wish you well in your endeavours and pray you take care. Thank you. You stay safe as well, yes? Till next we meet, and we will meet again. That soldier of the Radiant there, if I'm not mistaken, he accompanied Ahewan to Vanaspati. Could it be that he knew Vitra's identity all along? We have no better, safer course of action to offer them than fleeing to the moon. I know this, and yet Vitra and his people love their home. There must be something we can do. Even were Vitra to acquiesce to their proposal, just how does the Sharlians intend to transport the nation's entire populace to the moon? Their solution sits ill with me. But if life's taught me anything, it is that there is little to be gained from arguing with Sharlians. We must take it upon ourselves to find a better way. I've been entrusted with a message meant for you and your companions. When you're done speaking among yourselves, I will share it with you. Under normal circumstances, the Forum's proposal would be regarded as sheer madness, but when the skies burn, even madness can appear appealing. Doubtless Vitra is loath to abandon his home, and yet, absent other options, he cannot dismiss the option at hand. We have come as far as we have come, and after the horrors we have seen, there is still so much to do, we do not know about the final days. Could it be, as Nidhana said, that the cause of this phenomenon is beyond our comprehension? And if so, are we powerless to forestall it? Greeting, honoured scions of the Seventh Dawn. I have a message from His Excellency the Satrap. Brave scions, you have my gratitude for aiding my people in the most trying of times. Alas, matters here at Megaduta prevent me from meeting you all in person. As a token of mine appreciation, I have arranged a feast to be held in your honour. May it nourish you in preparations for the trial ahead. Such are the words of Master Vitra. The feast he speaks of awaits you in Merid's Mayhain. Pray make your way there whenever your business is done. We thank you for your kindness indeed. I was hoping we might find a place to discuss our next course of action, and that seems like an ideal venue. And to you, Miss Pachaka Shamizen, there is someone we had hoped to introduce you to in particular. While I am loath to detain you further, might you spare a moment of your time? Personal invitation, knowing full well your services are in the highest demand right now. This must be important. Worry not. We'll save some food for you, so take all the time you need. Thank you, friend. Whenever you are ready, please join me in the 8th Right Plaza and we shall continue. I shall go on ahead, sorry. Oh shit. I can't actually teleport there. Slightly wasted sprint there. Access to the 8th Right you see there has been restricted to a select few ever since the tower first appeared. We sincerely apologise for the inconvenience, but it was deemed too dangerous to permit the free movement of visitors at a time of emergency, a risk we could not take. In light of recent developments, however, the Satrap has decided that such resistance would only hinder our efforts to combat the final days. As such, I would encourage you to attune with the 8th Right before proceeding along the corridor. Oh man, I cannot stop yawning. You must be wondering what this place is. You stand in the Hall of the Radiant Host, from where our leadership oversees all of Rad's at-hand military operations. Sundrop, our destination, lies just ahead. Welcome to Sundrop. Without further ado, allow me to introduce you to... Oh, so you're the famous Shakasak Shamazen, eh? I knew it the moment you stepped through the door. You've the look of someone who's worked through hell. Shirabat, please. You're speaking to the Satrap's honoured guest and a saviour of our people. Could you not show a modicum of respect? What disrespect is there in paying a fellow warrior a compliment? We're all friends here, or will be soon. More formally then, for the benefit of my countrymen, it is a pleasure to have you with us, O great champion of Eorzea, sign of the Seventh Dawn, warrior of light, and all-round good hick, I'm sure. This talk of eggs reminds me I'm late for dinner. A woman after my own heart, I like that. Don't you worry, I'll keep it short. There's just a thing or two we'd like you to remember. First of all, about the room you're standing in now. Right at hand welcomes delegates from other lands to oversee trade and diplomatic dealings. Then there are the military matters to discuss, which is why all these officers are stationed here in Sundrop. I imagine you're more than familiar with each of the nations they represent, yes? We've got representatives from Doma, Uldar and Alamigo, Limzalaminza, Gridania, and last but never let it be said least, Ishgard. They're the eyes, ears, and mouths that bridge the distance between Radzat-Han and their respective homelands. We've used this brief respite to share the details of our plight with our overseas counterparts. And wouldn't you know it, all of the leaders requested a few words from you specifically. You're all men in high demand, eh? And so, would you mind regaling us with your own account? Indulge us before you indulge yourself. I thank you for the report. The conditions under which men are turned to beasts, the etheric anomalies you have observed. You have given us much to consider. It is concerning that the first transformation apparently occurred before the skies turned red. It is contrary to what one would expect. Thankfully, the information you conveyed to Lucia upon your return from the moon has already proved invaluable. As soon as reports of the calamity here in Thevne reached the Grand Company of Eorzea and our Far Eastern allies, our leaders knew at once that the final days were indeed upon us. They began taking steps to assess the extent of the phenomenon's spread. Our agents were able to confirm that, for the time being, the skies burn only over the Bounty, including this island and Corvus. Alas, that is of little comfort. Aye. All throughout Allied lands, there have been reports of people transforming into hideous beasts. From what little we have learned, these incidents are similar in nature to that involving the merchant Kalzan. As was the case here, the victims underwent the change prior to the heavens being set ablaze. And so, while the burning skies have yet to manifest beyond the Bounty, the transformations do not appear to be subject to any similar restriction. If anyone, anywhere, overcome by despair can turn, then nowhere is safe. That's about the size of it. Speaking of which, we ought to give these creatures a name, don't you think? Here at Radzat-Han, we've taken to calling the first to change, which tends to be the biggest, blasphemies. As fitting a name as any. To ensure clarity in future communications, we shall urge our comrades to adopt this terminology. Our leaders have taken measures to deal with the threat, to the best of our abilities. Aye, each nation has assembled their own group of elite soldiers to put down these so-called blasphemies, and their spawners, and when they appear. At the same time, they are doing all in their power to put people's minds at ease, and prevent panic and fear from spreading. That said, brave souls with the strength and fortitude to fell these terrible fiends are not easily found. Just so, and it is for that very reason that we turn to you. Pray lend us your strength, and help us to slay the blasphemies that plague our homelands. Now, you don't have to give your reply before dinner. I should also mention that each blasphemy seems to possess wildly different characteristics. What works well against one might serve you poorly against another. So before you go rushing off to save everyone's day, have a word with the delegates, then they'll tell you what to expect. And with that, I do believe our friend here has a feast to attend. Spare a thought for us whilst you're tucking into all that fine cuisine, eh? Pray forgive Shirabat her rudeness. She can be a bit boisterous at times, but it's simply in her nature. Anyway, my apologies for keeping you from your hard-earned rest. You'll be rejoining your companions, yes? Do you know the way to the Mayhane? No, like the back of my hand. Glad to hear you're becoming familiar with our fair city. You'll be pleased to hear that all the drinks are on the house, so order whatever suits your fancy. And with that, I must return to my post. On behalf of the all Radiant host, thank you and your friends once more for lending your strength and courage to Rad's at hand in our time of need. We shall endeavour to fight the good fight to the end, that we might honour Ahawan's legacy and serve Master Vitra well. You have my word that your efforts will not be in vain. Alright, let's go get some grub. How was your meeting with the Radiant? I would love to hear more. Good you could join us. Millian over there will be happy to take your order. The threat here has been quelled, but our job's only just begun. I know I must eat to regain my strength, but between you and me, I don't have much of an appetite. I'm overdue for a good meal. Forgive me for not waiting to make a toast. My throat was actually utterly parched. Welcome. When the satrap asked us to entertain a party of honoured guests, I was wondering who they might be. This is a lovely surprise to say the least. By the way, I heard about Kalzal from your friend Grahatia. I understand there was nothing that could be done, but I was heartened to hear he meant us no harm. I cannot thank you enough for dispatching the beasts. As the smallest token of our thanks, your food and drink tonight are Meridy's treat. Speaking of which, what shall I start you off with? A glass of your finest local spirits. As you wish. Pray join your friends and I will bring you your drink. Welcome back. Whatever did the Radiant want with you, pray tell? Our allies have sent military delegates. That's news to me. Mind sharing the details? So blasphemies now plague all the realm. It will only get worse, if what father said is true, as it did in Amarok. If that's our model, then shouldn't we expect the effects to grow more severe as it feeds off its own spread? As if people transforming into monstrosities wasn't bad enough. If the flora and fauna, if the land itself turns against us, no one would survive. Here's your order, friend. May you find comfort in these dark days. Dark times, even. Where do we go from here? If there's one thing we've learned, fighting blindly and simply reacting to what comes will accomplish nothing. We must find a solution that addresses the fundamental cause, before our strength is exhausted, before this crisis spirals out of control. Is there anything we've overlooked? If there is an answer, Heidelin herself will have it. It was she who bound Zodiac and forestalled the final days. Alas, we have heard naught from her since the Tower of Babel. Whether she cannot or will not speak, I can only speculate. Even the flower she gave us is no more. In our times we called it Elpis. You do well to remember the name. So advised the Watcher. Or what could be the significance of that name? It is entirely unfamiliar to me. To me as well. It meant something to the ancients, though in our time. Most surely, yet I do not recall a single mention of its records in the records of any other. Another dead end, and quite literally. It's not as if there are any ancients living among us we could go and ask. Not alive as such, but not quite dead. Elidibus. I sealed him in the white aura site of the Crystal Tower, back on the first. Contained within that reservoir of aether that maintains it, aether that is returned little by little to the sea. Naught may remain but of his soul. However, if part of it lingers, we might be able to speak with him there. No, we can no longer make that journey, but you, my friend, still can. It will be an opportunity to look in on the others as well. Thank you, my friend. That would mean much to me. If nothing else, we should learn the first is safe. Should we learn the first is safe, we'll have much more reason to keep fighting the good fight. That said, the odds are not in our favour, to say the least. Which is why we're fortunate to have Urianger up there on the moon, working hard to make all the necessary preparations for our departure, should it come to it. And why we have nothing to lose by staying the course till the last instant. Indeed, to the last. Let's all do what we can. I will consult with Master Matoya and see if she knows of a way to reach Heidelin from the Ethereal Sea. And I will visit the nation's leaders and attempt to ascertain how far the final days have progressed elsewhere. Keep me abreast of your findings. I can seek out and slay the worst of the immediate threats, if only to slow the spread. Unease, terror, despair. Try as you might to suppress them, these emotions will return to harry us time and time again. But when they do, remember this. Your friends and loved ones are out there, somewhere, sharing in your struggle. You are not alone. So ends the brief respite before the next revelation. Yes, so much left for you to see. Where beginning ends, an end begins. Nothing like a feast to lift the spirits. I trust you enjoyed yourself as well. Final days. How far has the phenomenon spread, and how does it manifest itself in each land? I must reach out to my friends in each nation and find out all I can. Well, I suppose I do feel better on a full stomach, after all. Burning skies? Blasphemies? Not if I've got anything to say about it. Beasts and blasphemies may be running amok in nearby lands outside the influence of Radzat-Han and the Alliance. If so, I may need to go hunting. If the Forum truly has been spurred by action by Heidelin's prophecy, then is it not odd that the Anti-Tower was entrusted to Master Matoya, who bears them no love? No doubt she has a reason for this, and I would know what it is. Now then, is there anything that we've forgotten to mention? Are your arms and armour in good order? In that case, it's time we each tended to our tasks. When you arrive on the first, give my regards to Rin. Tell her I miss her. Take this Checker, my spirit vessel. Empty now, of course, but it should allow you to operate the tower systems in the umbilicus. If even the smallest fragment of Elidibus's essence remains, it should be possible to locate it. As for access to the umbilicus, pray seek out Lina for assistance. Chances are she still stands watch at the Ascender gate. Should she or anyone else ask about me, tell me I am living my life to the fullest, and that I am happy, hardships and all. Well, we'd best be on our respective ways. God's willing, we will see each other again ere long. Back to the Crystarium. Checker, you are returned. Have you been well, you and the others? We've no shortage of trouble, but we're well enough. And things are much the same for you as they were here. My lord is doubtlessly enjoying himself. He said this to you, these exact words. Oh, to know that he is happy, it fills my heart with joy. Thank you, Pachaka, for taking care of him. When next you see him, pray tell him not to overexert himself, futile a request though it is. And tell him that all is well here. The peace you gifted us continues, and we work hard to build new lives for ourselves. In the course of this, we occasionally bicker, but we've never been more optimistic for the morrow. If I had to mention one dilemma, it would be the question of our governance. Even as we speak, debates rage on how we should run the city in the Exarch's absence. Most are of a mind that the settlement council should continue to oversee the general runnings of the Crystarium, while representatives are elected to determine policy and handle diplomacy. Thus far, nothing is set in stone, but however we choose to proceed, we will not replace our lord. No one could. Have we recently observed any unusual phenomena? No, I cannot say there have been. Curious that you should ask me about this. Ask me this question though. Some days ago, Rin came and asked the very same. She was rather unsettled, in stark contrast to how cheerful she has been of late. Rin has been dedicating herself to the restoration of the empty, you see. Though it will take many long years, the goal seems to have given her a newfound sense of purpose and fulfillment. So when I saw her in such a state of such worry, I couldn't help but feel worried in turn. Especially since she wouldn't tell me what troubled her. I dare say she would be more willing to confide in you. May I ask you to broach the subject with her? You wish to enter the umbilicus? Very well, I shall fetch the key at once, and take the opportunity to find Rin. Please wait for me in the city, in front of the Cabinet of Curiosity, shall we say. I will be along as soon as I can. Do my old eyes deceive? Is that truly Pachaka? Huh, it is. Full glad I might see you hale and whole, my friend. What a wonderful surprise it is to have you back with us, and at this most opportune time. In case you haven't heard, we are planning to produce a tome chronicling events from the Flood to the Knight's return. For this project, we intend to draw upon records kept by the world's people. Historical and contemporary first-hand accounts will be the centerpiece of the tome, but yours would be the one to crown them all. I've been asked to contribute a chapter on the soul, a subject that is key to understanding much of your endeavours. In the course of developing the spirit vessel, I gained valuable insight into the travel beyond the rift. Knowledge that will allow me to attest to your excellence and deeds. Is that right? To your existence and deeds. There is no end to the questions I would ask you, but if you can indulge me with just one net for now. In the quest to restore the night, you replaced many a formidable foe. Among them, who offered you the greatest struggle? This may come as a surprise, but truly, I would never have guessed. But then, if I could, I suppose I wouldn't have asked. It's a tremendously eye-opening answer, and we will see that your account of this battle features prominently in the tome. I'd love to talk her ear off, Moran, but we really should be on our way. Those documents for Yulmore won't collect themselves. Of course, of course. After all, would you care to join me afterwards? Would you care to join me for tea? I was hoping you might clarify a few points in your treatise. Till next time, do tell the others to look after themselves. Our overzealous friend in particular, remind him not to overexert himself, again and again, till his ears fall off, if that's what it takes for him to take it to heart. Oh, shit. Is that the Warrior of Darkness? It's her, it's really her. What are you doing here? If you're going to battle, I can give you some medicine. I made it myself. Best not, Ricky. You'd only give her a stomachache. We've come to see Moran to get advice. One of the guards finally agreed to teach us how to fight, but first we need to choose a fighting style. While I know that I want to be a mage, Arkil isn't sure. Magic isn't really my thing, so I was thinking of taking up the axe, or the sword, or maybe the bow. They all seem right, but it's hard to decide. So I thought I'd ask Moran. He knows a lot about lots of things. He isn't here. Oh. Ooh, why don't you have the Warrior of Darkness choose for you? What do you think best suits Arkil? Axe, sword, or bow? For protecting your friends, the sword. The sword. If you took up the sword, you could be just like Brandon, the Warrior of Light. I love that tale. Let's borrow the book today. It's really popular though. I hope it's still there. Thanks for helping me decide, Warrior of Darkness. I'll start with that style and maybe try something else later on. And when I get really strong, I hope to have a bout with you. Such fun she's been having basking in the adoration of musty old bookworms and wide-eyed younglings. But does she spare a thought for me? Of course not. Look down. No, it's going to be the fairy. I waited and waited and waited, but she won't so much as acknowledge the presence of her beautiful branch, even though they're right here. Such a heartless thing our sapling is, cold and cruel and heartless. Phil? I need you? Loveliest branch, just how I've missed you. Don't you have any more important things to do, Your Majesty? I have no end of important tasks to attend to, but unlike some, I know where my priority should be. And since when did my sapling become a twisted old tree that says such unkind things? But disappointed as I am, I'll overlook it this once. I know you have a lot on your mind right now. So, my adorable sapling, the world is on the verge of destruction, is it? Heh, how do I know this? Joined as we are, spying on you is as simple as sliding down the back of a rainbow. Would that I could aid you in your quest, but the fate of we Fey folk is bound to that of the star. Whither it goes, so too do we follow, such is our way. The most I could do for you is spare you the pain by gifting you the sweetest of eternal dreams. But if escape's not to your liking, then you must struggle with your fellow mortals. Ah, but here are the ones you were waiting for. I wonder what manner of conclusion awaits at the tale's end. My apologies for the delay. Chaka, it's so wonderful to see you again. You doubtless have much catching up to do, and so I shall leave you to it. I've taken the liberty of unlocking the umbilicus, and you may enter at your leisure. I'm relieved to hear that everyone is well. I've had this feeling, like a pit in my stomach, and I was afraid that something might have happened. Maybe I'm overthinking things, but it's just that I'm the Oracle of Light, but I've never spoken with Heidelin, never once heard her call. Even so, I've always had this feeling deep inside me, a connection to something immense. These past few days, though, that connection has wavered, as if that immense something was distant, then close, then distant again. And then the other night, I was jolted awake by the feeling it had been completely severed. Wanting some fresh air, I went to open the window, and to my horror, the sky was ablaze, like during the star shower. And then I blinked and everything was normal. The next day, no one said a thing, and no one else had seen what I had seen. As far as I could tell, nothing was out of the ordinary. I began to wonder if it was a figment of a half-remembered dream. Chaka, what are you not telling me? I have to know, please. It doesn't matter how terrible it is. It wasn't my imagination then. The doom we witnessed in Amarot has come again. I can't believe it. Like I told you before, all is well in the first. So don't worry about us, please. Look only to the threat before you. We're fine now, and even if we weren't, we've learned how to survive. Should the final days reach us here as well, you may rest assured we won't go quietly. No, we'll hold on until you can find a way to save all our worlds. So long as you continue your fight, so too will we, united in purpose beneath a blazing sky. Alright, you can stay. You headed to the umbilicus to consult with Elizabeth, right? I'll do some consulting of my own and speak with Lina. Decide how we might best prepare for the final days. So it's farewell for now. We'll see each other again, I'm certain of it. That's a big hammer. Hi, Mrs. Prochaka, welcome back. The captain has told Mule. Give me the word and I'll show you to the ocular, okay? Biometrics authentication complete. Please state your business. Acknowledge. Reinitializing Circus Tower systems. Searching for Elidibus entity. Target located in subterranean core power accumulator. Projecting image. My home, my friends. No more than a dream. You, why have you awakened me? I no longer sense those places beyond, or Lord Zodiac. You must explain all. So, he is fallen, and my brethren's souls return to the star. The doom we sacrificed so much to prevent is come again. Old burdens now yours to bear. But if this is Fandaniel's design, then I, as Elidibus, have a duty to fulfill. Your unsolicited act has restored to me some few memories of the convocation. Such knowledge as I have, I will share. I'm sorry. Why apologize for receiving a favor of the defeated? If it sits ill, consider it payment for freeing Lord Zodiac from servitude. Where to begin? Ah, the end. Your understanding of what caused the final days is consistent with our own. The decay first took root where the currents were weakest. Yes, a conclusion drawn by him, Fandaniel. Not the him of here and now, but as I knew him, long, long ago. Having shed light upon the phenomenon, he dedicated himself to devising a countermeasure. Were it not for his knowledge of the celestial, we would never have made the connection, and thence forestalled the final days. And though he inherited that noble soul, how different this last incarnation, so consumed by self-loathing and hate. Elpis? Yes, the name is familiar to me. Yet, I know it not as a flower, but a place. A testing facility for determining which of our creations were fit to be released into the world. Many worked there, and before joining the convocation and assuming the title of Fandaniel, he was their chief. He was Hermes. That is all I know. The crystal tells little of the lives the 14 led prior to their induction. Elpis itself would tell even less. Nary a ruin has survived. Wait, I saw you there. In Elpis. No, I did not. But I did. I did. A lingering trace of impossibility. And a truth that fills my heart. My memories remain clouded, I fear. However, they have revealed to me one possible course. You must travel to Elpis, to the time when Hermes served as its chief. In glimpsing the Exarch's memories, not only did I make his summoning magic mine own, I also mastered the workings of this tower, which, having absorbed my empowered essence, now harbours an abundance of energy. As such, I believe I can deliver you unto the past, unto that place and that precise moment. Given the aeons that must be traversed, the gateway will not be fully formed. Your form will be less tangible than those warriors of light I had summoned. In all likelihood, none will be able to see or hear you. Yet even should you manage to interact with others, you will be unable to effect meaningful change. For the reality you wish to save, the reality to which you must return, exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo tragedies of the present, cannot unmake sorrow and suffering fated to come. In full knowledge of this, will you entrust your life to your foe and make the journey? Very well. I shall cast you onto the river of time. Let this be my final act. You must input the commands. I no longer have the authority. First, you must reconfigure the system, that the tower's aether may be channeled for the magic. The preparations are complete. The gateway will open soon. Please return at once to the ocular. All appears to be in order. The aether flows unimpeded. The magic should consume every last mote of my essence. Why are you surprised? Did I not say this will be my final act? Lord Zodiac is no more. There is nothing for me here. The ones I love and long to see again are waiting, in that promised land beyond memory and dream. Now go, warrior of light. Go and do not look back. Well, Hydelin, I take my leave of you. Yours is the mantle of the last of us. May you have the joy of it, the burden and solitude. It falls to you now, you and your champion, to save our star. The man stands dutifully by the Aetheryte like a device, a guide for this facility in all likelihood. You attempt to get the man's attention, but he sees. But if he sees or hears you, he gives absolutely no indication. As Elizabeth warned, it appears your form is intangible. The device is reminiscent of an Aetheryte. Perhaps it is possible to attune with it. Despite your attempts to channel and focus your energies, you fail to attune with the device. You can only assume it operates differently. Black-robed man. The remarkably large man wears a black robe and a half-mask, much like the phantoms you encountered in Maria Lamentorum and the recreated Amaroth. It would seem you have made it to your destination. You gesticulate wildly and shout all manner of greetings and obscenities, but the man does not so much as glance in your general direction. I'm assuming it's those two over there, perhaps? Conversing woman. This is the right place, yes? Propylion? Judging by the woman's words, the facility is called Propylion. You attempt to gently prod the woman to attract her attention, but she feels nothing, and it seems neither does she. You suspect this door leads outside, but how to open it? And here we are, Elpis. Well, well, how rare to receive you in person. To what do we owe the honour? Oh, just a few odd tasks. We'll be here a while. You're welcome to stay as long as you see fit, of course. As a matter of procedure, however, I must ask that you kindly remove your masks. Come now, is this truly necessary? Surely you can tell who we are. Who you are, perhaps, but I am far less infamous. Regardless, if you do not follow protocol, it is our hosts who will be held accountable. So please, do favour us with your handsome face. That's Emmett Selk. It's got to be. Satisfied? Thank you for your cooperation. You are free to go about your business. By the by, you see it too, yes? I haven't the foggiest what you're talking about. That's odd. It's right here. A bit thin in the aether. There's no mistaking it. The colour of its soul is almost identical to Azim's. Do you suppose she created it? Rather unusual for a familiar to have a soul, though. Don't ask me. All I know is that it's trouble. Doubly so if it's her spitting image. So let's leave it be. Come now. He's trying to say something, but it's literally too intangible to form words. Why don't you give it some aether? Spare a snifter of your bounteous reserves. Who do you take me for? Why, a dear friend, of course. One who wouldn't let acts of kindness, such as my accompanying him on errands to far-flung outposts, go unrewarded. I suggest you close your eyes, or this may be unpleasant. That's definitely Emmett. You may open your eyes. Oh, you even adjusted its size. The better to indulge your whim. This way it will be easier to communicate with. How very thoughtful of you, and may I applaud your artful reinforcement. Without further ado, greetings. I am here Theodeus, Chief of the Bureau of the Architect. Sulking beside me is the most honourable MXLK of the Convocation of 14. And how might we address you, my new friend? A fine name, and I am pleased to see you understand our words. So tell us, whence have you come? The thinness of your aether suggests you weren't created here. You do not know, or cannot say. Allow me to ask a different question then. What brings you here? I seek a man named Hermes. Well said. Well now, same as us. Perhaps Azim wished to come too, but had to settle for a familiar. If she truly wished to be here, then she would be. Right you are. My apologies if we've given offence. The two of us can discern the colour of souls, you see, and yours happens to resemble that of a friend. And with your purpose matching our own besides, we jump to a hasty conclusion. We're here to speak with Hermes, the chief overseer of this facility, which we also intend to tour in order to gain greater insight into the man's work. We, I say, though this is Emmett Sulk's charge, I am only here to serve as his guide. And I should be happy to serve as yours as well, by way of an apology for the misunderstanding. Wait, are you suggesting that we bring it along on official business? This thing we know next to nothing about? If you harbour suspicions, better to keep it close than leave it to its own devices, wouldn't you agree? Besides, having a mysterious life form in tow is the norm rather than the exception here. Welcome, my friends, to the testing grounds of creation at the Heaven's Edge, Elpis. Oh wow, look at you! Oh, it's beautiful. The world unsundered, Elpis. That's Argos. This presence. Hermes, visitors, we have visitors. I really need to go. What secrets are you hiding, I wonder? Alright, I think that's the end of the cinematics. Alright, I'm gonna head off. I hope you had a good time, and I'll